back on camera and it feels good. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry that it's I've already messed up on my scheduling. I'm so sorry. I had a crazy weekend and I wasn't able to get the video out on Monday, so this video will go out ASAP. I'm very, very sorry. Right. The thought of being debt-free is so alien to most of us that we actually laugh when someone suggests it, or even go as far as thinking that someone who actually is debt-free is either lying or just doesn't go out. Ever. However, we can all become debt-free. Now, this is probably the most important videos, or at least one of the most important videos I'll ever post on this channel. So let's talk about getting our net worth from the red and into the black.
I work hard each and every day. I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change.
Hey everyone, it's Lewis back again with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about how you can become debt-free. Yes, it is a possibility. You can do it. So if you are in debt in some way, this video will get you to the promised land of not having to owe anyone anything ever again. This video will be a long one, warning, but a very important one, so I highly encourage you to watch until the end. Now, it's widely accepted these days that debt is just a way of life. It's something that we just accept will be in at some point and there's no stopping it. And the stats would appear to back this up. According to the Bank of England, the average UK adult is in debt by £30,575, and that's without student loans. According to the Office for National Statistics, or the ONS, the UK government is in debt by £2.2 trillion. Wow. Don't trust Rishi, eh? According to a post from the Money Charity, I gotta love the Money Charity, right? It wouldn't be a video without me mentioning them. Again, it will be linked down below in the description. Here is a brief overview of how bad the debt situation is in the UK. After this, I'll then discuss how we can become much better than the average and actually become what seems to be a complete weirdo, or as I like to call it, financially independent. The average total debt per household in the UK is £62,965. Now, the site graphic didn't confirm it, but I'm assuming that this includes large debts such as mortgages and student loans. The total unsecured debt per UK adult as of October 2021 is £3,713. Unsecured debt is credit cards, personal loans, overdrafts, utility bills, and things like that. And the total amount that Brits owed at the end of October 2021 was £1.7 billion. And it would take 25 years to pay off the UK's average debt of that 62,000 odd if it were on a credit card making only the minimum payments. That's kind of crazy. I would much rather invest for 25 years than pay off debt for 25 years, that's for sure. So when you see or hear numbers like this, you start to understand why the pandemic triggered somewhat of a change in people's attitudes and outlooks to their financial situation, which is a great thing. Of course, I hope that this channel will help that as well. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more. Usually when most people think about debt, their minds will naturally gravitate toward that shiny little piece of plastic in their wallet or purse or their smartphone wallet, the credit or charge card. But unfortunately, there are plenty of other things that can contribute to someone's level of debt. And those things are as follows: loans, student, car, personal, etc., you name it. If you want to further yourself as a person when you're young, chances are you'll consider university. This will cost you a student loan, along with the amazing benefit of having to pay it off for the rest of what feels like the rest of your life. The average interest rate of student loans for the years 2020 to 2021 was 2.6%. That was if you were earning less than £27,295. It went up to 5.6% for those earning more than £49,130. Bit of a climb, that. And if you want a nice car to drive around to impress people that you don't know or don't care about, you can go to your local dealer to take out a loan. The average interest rate of car loans, wait for this, can be from 4.96% for people with an excellent credit score to 18.21% for those with a bad credit score. That's crazy. And then there's payday loans. Now, in my opinion, taking out one of these is one of the worst, if not the worst, financial decisions that you can make, as the APR is sky high and it can decimate your credit score. Now get ready for this. The average interest rate of payday loans? 1,250%. Kill me now. And then there's overdrafts. There's only ever one beneficiary to you having an overdraft with your bank. Your bank. For you, these can become very costly very quickly. Fees such as daily charges for being overdrawn can grow out of control, and your payday will go from a thing of joy to despair in a heartbeat. Your income is your greatest tool to use for financial independence, so it would be wise to avoid an overdraft at all costs. You then have catalogue loans or buy now, pay later. BNPL. How much we can eat you. Retail companies are increasingly becoming a major player in the debt game thanks to these two. Catalogue loans have been around for a very long time. However, I believe that BNPL is relatively new. At least it has been relatively new in the marketing world. Now, please don't underestimate my hatred for BNPL. It is a predatory concept which entices people, usually millennials and younger, to buy way more than what they intended to, with the promise of not having to pay it all back at the time. Instead, you can simply pay the amount back in installments with what seems to be a reasonable interest rate. Yeah, right, okay, because I want to get in debt for clothes. Companies like Next, Klarna, ClearPay, and Laybuy are some of the poster childs for this plague. Again, this is in my opinion, don't fall for it and just shop the old-fashioned way. Buying what you can afford in one payment. I know, sounds crazy, right? Increasing your income, buying appreciating assets, and living below your means is what's going to get you to financial independence, not going ham at ASOS. Okay, so we've established that there are many ways that we can be in debt, and there's a good chance that one or a few of these may apply to our lives. Now take this time to think for a second. How would it feel to not owe anyone any money anymore? Why do I sound like William Shatner?
A fiddler on the roof. Sounds crazy, no?
Imagine payday coming along, and instead of all your money going to a direct debit to MasterCard or Klarna or whoever else, you can actually use it for something useful like saving for a home, or your emergency fund as I discussed in the last video, or investing toward your retirement to look after your future self, or hell, going on holiday. Why do I do these things? Why? Why do I do these things? Being debt-free isn't just about making yourself richer. It's not. The psychological effect that it can have is incredible. It's a massive weight off of anyone's shoulders. If the average Brit is in debt by over 30k, I can only imagine what your situation might look like. Good chance you're in debt by the thousands, right? At least I know that I certainly was beforehand. Now, I don't owe any long-term debt to anyone anymore. Yes, I still use credit cards each month to purchase things such as food and whatnot, but I pay it off in full each month because I can now, and I take advantage of the rewards that it gets me. However, when I was 18, hang on everyone, it's YouTuber story time everyone, YouTuber story time. When I was 18, I got myself into debt with a credit card and unbelievably a mobile phone contract. I was stupid and I thought that I didn't need to pay them back. And the result was 2 defaults registered against my credit score. It's not only until very recently, about 3 or 4 years ago, that those defaults have finally stopped affecting my score, which is now excellent. The stupid thing is, it only took me about 6 months to get clear of everything that I had hanging over my head. That's not a lot of time in the grand scheme of things, as I didn't have a massive balance to begin with. But considering that I had sat on this debt for over 5-6 years and allowed it to destroy my credit rating for the best part of a decade, says it all. I hadn't gotten into beast mode. I was just in I'll do it later mode, because I wanted to much rather put my money into Nike trainers or Apple products instead of those companies' stocks, for instance. Obviously, if you're young and watching this video without having been in debt, by now already you'll know to avoid it. But for the rest of you, like myself, who of course got into the situation in the first place, let's devise a plan to get out of this situation once and for all, because speaking from experience, it is possible. First of all, this is exactly what that title said. If you want to be debt-free, you need to want to be debt-free. This step of your financial foundation isn't negotiable if you want to become richer or just secure enough to never have to worry about money again. Debt is the most debt is the biggest warrior of money. It's surely, right? Now, you can't think about contributing towards a stocks and shares ISA with Vanguard to get a return of about 7 to 10%, for instance, if you have a credit card debt of £10,000 with an interest rate of 22%. The debt completely cancels out the gains on investment. Unless you're Warren Buffett or incredibly lucky, you're simply not going to return 20% plus each year on your investments just so you can beat your interest rate payments. Once you've then come to the conclusion that you want to smash this like some kind of utter money legend, it is best to start by listing all of your debts. This is so you can see exactly what's required of you to work towards getting out of this situation. You can do this in any way that you want to, but the way that I did it, I just simply kept track of everything I owed via the Notes app on my iPhone. However, you might feel better keeping a spreadsheet or physically writing it down in a notebook or in your diary or putting it up on a board in your room somewhere so you can physically see it. There are even apps for it if you're a bit of a tech guy like me. Whatever works for you works. How you list them can also be important to your end game. No, not that end game. Sorry. Marvel.
I understood that reference.
Now, generally speaking, it's best to list your debts from smallest to largest or vice versa, but perhaps you prefer listing them from the largest interest rate to the smallest, or the other way around, or even your earliest debt to your latest. Anything that will psychologically help you here is great. Once you're at this stage, it's time to go full Buzz Lightyear.
I've set my laser from stun to kill.
As previously mentioned, whatever works for you works. I'm not here to tell you how to become debt-free, just get there. But at least do it with some sort of structure. Otherwise, everything will come tumbling down, you'll get overwhelmed, and you'll give up. For me, the best way to start as I meant to go on was to simply pay down the smallest debt first. It's the easiest win that you can give yourself, and it will get the ball rolling. This is called the debt snowball method. The reason why? Because you are simply taking out your debts like a snowball fight. Unfortunately, my editing game isn't as good at the moment, so I can't really edit snowballs in my hands. But you get the point, right? I'm trying to be good here, man. Here's an example of how someone's debt portfolio could look like. Portfolio, hilarious. So a credit card debt of £2,500 at an interest rate of 8%, a car loan debt of £15,250 at an interest rate of 12%, and another credit card debt of £5,000 at an introductory interest rate of 2% for 26 months, but then it goes to 7% after that. So at first glance, you might think, well, surely I just pay the introductory interest rate down first, as I have a limited time before the rate rises, right? But actually, if you want to tackle this with the snowball method, you would start with the $2,500 first, as you'll be able to pay this down the quickest because it's simply the smallest, regardless of interest rate. Once you put all of your energy into the smallest, easiest one, you'll feel much more able to pay the other ones down despite the higher amounts. It will get you in that mindset, you know? And it's a pretty damn good win. It really, really is. There is also another way to consider, the debt avalanche method. This method tackles the interest rate versus the amount. So using those examples again, if you were to commit to the avalanche, you would focus on paying down the car first because this carries the highest interest rate of the three. Then moving on to the first credit card debt before finishing with the last credit card debt. Whilst this ensures you actually pay much less interest than the snowball method, so overall you'd be saving more money, it will probably take more mental strength to commit to, as you're immediately tackling the largest of the giants here. But hey, this might not apply to you, so it could make perfect sense to you. You could be a very disciplined person, a very well-minded person, so go for it if you think that you can do this. Speaking more on interest rates on debt, it may not matter entirely how you choose to pay these off. We now know that the two most widely recognized methods of debt are the snowball and avalanche methods. For some reason, debt people love snow. Who knew? But if all you have, however, is a credit card, you could pay this off with no interest at all by simply transferring your balance to a 0% balance transfer credit card for a certain period of time. It's something to seriously consider if this applies to your circumstance. It's very important, however, to know that applying for a balance transfer credit card will require a credit check. So make sure that you have the flexibility in your credit score to do this, as of course being declined will bring your score further down and possibly compound your issues. You can use an eligibility calculator on various websites these days in the UK, so to see what likely you'll be accepted for before applying. I've actually used one myself previously and it did me a world of good. So has my girlfriend. It will allow you some breathing space and is a great help if, let's say, that one of your credit cards you have carries a hefty interest rate of 8% or higher. And to be honest, 8% is modest. Going from that to zero will save you potentially thousands in interest payments. So keep in mind that the majority of these cards will have a balance transfer fee, for example, like 2.9% of your balance. So whilst it may cost you a little bit more upfront to transfer the balance, it will cost less in the long run because of the interest that you'll save. Some of these types of cards can have a 0% rate for as long as 2.5 to 3 years. Again, it does depend on your situation though. I'm not giving financial advice here. I'm just saying how I would do this for educational purpose. Therefore, I felt it best to leave out any examples of these cards, as it always pays to do your own research. And I obviously don't know your personal circumstance, and I don't know what you could be approved or not approved for. So there you go. When it comes to paying debt off, you're going to be using your income to become debt-free. So first of all, it's a good idea to calculate just how much you need to live on each month. Like I discussed in the emergency fund video, if you haven't watched that one yet, I highly encourage that you do watch it. These are the essentials to your everyday life. While you are on the journey to becoming debt-free, consider cutting the non-essentials, such as going out to restaurants, watching Netflix, listening to Spotify, and ordering off of Amazon. As a famous US-based personal finance guru, and one of my heroes, Dave Ramsey puts it, beans and rice, rice and beans. By the way, if you ever need a pep talk or a real dressing down from someone on your financial situation, read The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. It's what got me started on this whole journey, and it's life-changing. It's amazing. Seriously, do read that. You can still realistically do these things while paying down debt, but just know that it will take longer to be free. Once that is worked out, you'll then know how much disposable income you have left over from your monthly pay to tackle the debts that you have. And here's a calculation template to help you. So you take your monthly income after tax, let's say it's £2,000, minus your essential monthly outgoings of rent or mortgage, council tax, food, water, gas and electricity, internet, fuel, any applicable assurances, which are life, buildings, contents, car, pet, all of that good stuff. And then after all of that, you have your disposable income left for debt payments. Now, this is the most important message of this entire video. It doesn't matter how big the map might look. You've got this and you can do this. Your income will be enough to pay this debt off because it's half the reason why you're in this position in the first place. Let's be honest, lifestyle creep or lifestyle inflation is a hell of a thing, right? And if it's not, then consider increasing your income. Start a side hustle. Pick up some odd jobs. Sell some crap that got you in this position in the first place on eBay. That could psychologically be a really big help for you. And keep at it with some positive reinforcement. Let's say that you commit to the snowball method that I discussed earlier, and every time that you pay off a debt completely, you go out and purchase one nice thing for yourself as a reward, or go out to your favourite restaurant to celebrate. Just don't fall back into that cycle of using debt to pay for crap that you don't need. Get the cards out of your wallet. Chuck or lock them away if necessary. Block the websites that you use to spend on from your phone. Whatever you need to do. Basically, it's 1-1 in the 90th minute of the World Cup final, and you're just about to take what would be the winning penalty for England. Get locked in. Just as we all forgot about the Euros, I bring it up again. Wonderful. Cheers, Lewis. That's a really well done, mate. And a very final but important note. No matter what method that you choose, make sure that you're making the minimum payments of your other debts if you have multiple. Don't get yourself into further financial difficulty by not doing this. If you can't afford to do this, consider calling the companies to let them know and they will create a plan with you. Alternatively, if it's really bad, reach out to someone like Step Chains if you're seriously struggling. It really pays to talk to someone, and I'll link down below in the description to Step Change's website and phone numbers if anyone needs it. So with all that said, I really hope that you found some value in this video. If so, give it a thumbs up and let's have a discussion about it in the comments. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing for more money related content. Hit that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss any further videos. Follow me on Instagram for more posts, and remember, until next time, every quid counts. See you soon.